I want to stop working, but I just don't know where to start. That is a frustrating, nagging thing that I have gone through before. I wonder if you've gone through the same thing, or maybe you're in the same predicament. I want to hear from you. Drop in the comment below. Yes, you see, many of us are asking that question. I want to stop working, but I just don't know where to start. And in today's video, I'm going to share with you 4 epic fails in business and 4 points of where to start. My name is Genevieve Stafford Jack, and welcome to my channel. About 6-7 years ago, I had decided that training and coaching is something for me. I'd worked in a number of different industries, and every time I was in a different position, I would find myself having to teach the new person that comes in the door. And I really would get excited doing that. So the skill of software testing and whichever other business skill that I'd learned, I would love to do that. But I realized that it ticked my boxes teaching somebody else something that I had mastered. So I knew this was it for me. Do you have that something deep inside of you that you're kind of thwarting and you're saying, keep quiet, I'm not big enough yet to do that? I want to hear from you down in the comments below. Tell me, what is your dream? Mine was training and coaching. So nonetheless, with the emotions that were so high, the toxic environment that I was working in, I had decided I am going to resign. So January 2017, I resigned. I didn't only just resign from my job. We were in the middle of a failed side hustle that cost us stupid amounts of money. So my emotions were even more high. So I can't only blame the toxic environment. Look, they added to it proper. But my side hustle added to that. And this was another year that was going to go by that I didn't resign again to start my business. There was these different layers that I was now dealing with in my head that led me into epic fail in business number 1, which is resigning with no income. I find that gets your emotions higher. So if my emotions could get any higher, this is what had happened with me. Some of my decisions I made was not the best decisions under the sun, which leads me into epic fail in business point number 2, which is oftentimes when we've worked for all these years, we've got this employee syndrome of getting paid every 30 days. So we've got this 30-day cycle within us because it's been ingrained in who we are in the workplace, and we hope for the best of money coming in. So when money didn't come in the first month, where do you think my emotions went? Straight through the door. Oh, and by the way, I didn't also add, during this time, I was learning how to find property investing opportunities because I'd gotten into property investing, knowing that this particular side hustle was going to help me not only just manage my income, but also help with some of the creditors that we owed. So guys, you can really see if there's anything I did a number on myself in the beginning. But what I'm grateful for is that there's lessons to be learned, hence the video. Now let's get into point number 3. You know, while you think, oh, this is a good business idea that I need to get into, epic fail in business point number 3 is look at the resources that you have and use what you have available. I got an office in the namesake of my daughter's too. She's going to follow the sound of my voice, which is true. But I'm not going to be able to work and I'm not going to be able to meet people, yada, yada, yada. I gave myself a story. When in actual fact, what played out is that had I waited just 10 months, 10 months, and worked with what I had, like I enjoy sitting on the patio, like I'm doing the video from the patio. One of the rooms I put in a little corner, work my own little office in that corner where I do some of the other videos. We use the house with different facets to it. And that's the bottom line, is that had I opened my eyes then, I could have waited 10 months, and only after 10 months would that office have been helpful to me the way it was helpful to me 10 months into business. Epic fail in business number 4. You know, when you start off with something, you've got this big picture. You've got this grand idea of what you're wanting to get to, right? And then there's this shiny object there you find in the corner of your eye, you get distracted with it. So, epic fail in business number 4 is be careful of the shiny object syndromes. When you get distracted from working from your bigger picture, your dream, your focus, you get distracted with things that will promise you so many things in a short space of time. I got distracted with something called affiliate marketing. I got distracted on this online vibe because when you listen to online gurus, it almost sounds like in 30 days you can have all sorts of wonders going. Only now do I realize, yes, maybe in 30 days for this one part of business, but not all these other moving parts that there is to go on an online business. But I learned that by going down the rabbit hole. My rabbit hole has taught me that in hindsight, if I was only following somebody that is in the space that I wanted to be in, maybe it could have been a bit of different space. But we will be unpacking that in the tips in the next coming minutes. Be careful of the things that distract you, because the things that distract you take away from where you are going to as a person. Now, moving over onto the 4 tips that I would like to encourage you on where to start. So, where to start, tip number 1. Somewhere along the line, many of us claim that we do not have this thing in us, that we're not sure what to do. For some instances, I do believe is true. But for many, I think we've got this business idea, but what we tell ourselves maybe is the same dialogue I had. I told myself, you know what? This is not an original idea. A training and coaching company is a dime a dozen. They're everywhere. But what I learned over time is that, look, business ideas may not be original, but the passion behind the business idea will make it unfold in a very unique way. Do you think big stores, when they open up another branch somewhere, think, oh, I can't open up my Pick and Pay store because Checkers is there? Go to any mall, right? And you will sometimes find a Pick and Pay, a Checkers, and a Woolworths store in this big mall. But what these 3 stores have in common, somewhere along the line, someone sells you beans, someone sells you spaghetti, somebody sells you wine, somebody sells you cheese. But none of them said, I'm going to stop and not take my store into that particular mall because another big supermarket is there. Just with your business idea, I want you to think about your business idea. My training and coaching company is no more unique than any other training and coaching business, but me being the owner of it, my passion is unique. My passion and my drive is different. My background is different. How I do things is different. But also remember, nothing that is worth it comes easy. You're going to get into business, there's going to be challenges, and you need to ask yourself, am I going to sit and whine or just get moving? So think about your business idea. What is it? Where to start, point number 2. Understand the industry that you're interested in. In hindsight, I really wish I did this better. I knew that I needed to get into the space of training and coaching, but what I didn't learn is how are other entrepreneurs doing it and getting it right. I've been so used to working in these big corporates that I saw these big corporates doing things, not realizing as a new kid on the block, how do you differentiate yourself? So, this is the one thing that when I think about it, I wish I could have done better. I'm thankful that I've learned the lessons along the way because those lessons make me what? Unique. Find someone to follow online. Online is so available to us, right? I've got trainers and coaches that I follow online, but I've also got visionaries that I follow online. I start listening to how big their picture is. I start reading about how long it took them to actually get started versus some of the online gurus that come up and say in 30 days you're going to be a millionaire. Like, I worry about those guys, right? I'm not dissing them, but I worry about them because how much substance is there? So if I can follow somebody where I can actually start seeing their blueprints of how they got to where they're going, at least I'll be able to get an inclination on what I could learn from that person. For example, I'm a property coach. I may not be everybody's cup of tea, but people that are starting out and that are stuck in property investing do look to me. So I asked myself, how do I make it better? And every time I experience something on the ground, I had a habit of coming online and sharing that with my community. Look, I still do that. And this is why I believe that people then gravitate to me, because there's somewhere along the line in our spirit, we connect with each other. Who are you connecting with online? Who are you following? What are you learning when you are online? And I want to say, guys, that is a big one. Where to start? Tip number 3. Know how to negotiate and close a deal. Let me tell you a quick story. When I got into the space of closing deals with clients, I started realizing the more desperate I was, and I was in an emotional rut, the fewer deals I would close. So I needed to get out of that. So when I would go to a client to close a deal, I would tell myself, get into a happier space. I would put music on that I really thought was awesome and literally get myself hyped up. By the time I got into that room, I may not have known all the eloquent stuff, right? We sit down and I say, look, guys, take it or leave it. I'm not going to bend over because I'm a solopreneur starting out. I trust that you're going to find somebody that's worth it, that is good for you. But me, I've got to bounce if I've got to bounce. And when people start seeing your confidence, it's not so much the words you say. Anyway, that's my opinion. It's not so much the words you say, but the effect and how you can close a deal. If you can walk away from a deal without feeling like you've just taken money out of your mouth, sometimes that deal may not have been for you. That's what I call it. I remember helping a friend when she had started her educational business. And I was like, oh, pay me whatever. Oh, this is what I would have gotten. I was kind of lackadaisy about it. But 2, 3 months later, I thought, I'm working like like something else here. Why am I frustrated? I'm getting back into this space that I didn't want to be in. And when I pulled myself out of it, the small little monies that they were paying, I was able to kiss it goodbye because I realized my worth and my value was so much more than the small change that they put on me. And I'm like, time out. I'm done. Why? Because I was laxy daisy in closing that deal. So learn how to close deals. Learn about yourself when you're in a stressful situation, the mistakes that you may make, because we all make mistakes, guys. And fourth, and certainly not least, where to start tip number 4. This is a slightly unique one. And I want to say that if you stayed until this point, then you're really serious about expanding as an entrepreneur. Learn the concept of the Fibonacci sequence. What do I mean by that? This is going to help you with your shiny object syndrome. Watch the space, right? If you don't know what the Fibonacci sequence is, here's a small definition. The next number is found by adding the previous 2 numbers. So on the screen, we've got 0 and 1. If we add 0 and 1, it comes to 1. So the last 2 numbers now is 1 and 1. When we add 1 and 1, it comes to 2. So now the last 2 numbers is 1 plus 2. When we add 1 plus 2, it equals 3. The last 2 numbers is now 2 plus 3. That equals 5. The last 2 numbers are 3 and 5. That equals 8. Do you see where I'm going to with this? You start off small. It doesn't look like you're moving. But all of a sudden, now you are left with numbers that are adding up, that are jumping. 5 plus 8 is 13. And when you look again, 8 plus 13 is 21. And the point of this particular tip is to say, when you get distracted with the shiny object syndrome, it takes you away from building your Fibonacci sequence for your business. Because when you come back, you're going to have to try and establish where you were, and you're going to end up building from scratch. You see, in this closing point, it's a big one for me. I've been busy creating courses for clients, course content on stuff I did in the workplace. I created from a 500-page file, I created an awesome course around the content, but 9 out of 10 times it was about my experience. So I knew how to shape that content, have the discussions go on in the class so that the class actually answers and puts their portfolio of evidence together, having grasped the concept and not just teaching a skill that, maybe we hope that they get it. And do you know what? When I actually started in property investing, doing the teaching and the training, I had to take some of my own medicine to say, I've been creating courses for people, for clients. I just hand over the IP, closed eyes. Like, what was that about, Jen? Like, I wanted to, what was that about, chick? But when I sat down and I asked myself, what was my blueprint in learning the things that I needed to learn and incorporating my experience to make it better for my students going forward, I now needed to start off with the Fibonacci sequence. When I said to myself, okay, so you've got content, you know how to teach it, but where's your experience? I needed to build it up slowly, but slowly, but slowly. So now when I say in my training and coaching business, property investing is a small component. Why? Because I took my knowledge, I put it into an advanced online training that I do group coaching with. So I'm able to service a number of people to generate conversation around this skill called property investing, but also make sure that it doesn't consume my life. Because, on the other hand, what I never thought, if you told me this 4 years ago, I would have said, I like your dream. What I never thought was possible, today, I would be teaching entrepreneurs like you, like me, how to create what their passion is in the form of content, put it together so that you can teach it offline in a classroom, or you can bring it online, and the different options on how you can do it online, because not everybody is technically savvy. Sometimes people are technically challenged. I was in a software testing environment, and because of just my curiosity, I've been able to build my websites. But on the flip side, I started with my course content in the class to see how much am I really extracting from people to make sure I'm answering what they are looking for and not just giving them what I think should be a happy place. So that's what I also learned about creating course content. You can create your framework, you can create all the information around it, but give it a go 2 or 3 times with a group of people to see where you can tweak things. So, had you told me that time back, I would have thought, I like your imagination. But fortunately, I stuck with the Fibonacci sequence. I got derailed, I came back, I sorted out my base income. I came back. I threw out my employee mindset. I came back and I said to myself, all those epic fails in business, I now need to translate it and put it on its head. But more importantly, I needed to put it together on a video for somebody like yourself that is looking to see what could I do differently in business. So I trust that that has really helped you answer the question, I want to stop working. Where do I start? Take good care. Be safe until the next episode.